YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today, guys, it has been a gruesome 2 days learning this deck. Regardless, we made it. We actually learned infernoble. It was a hard game to play with this deck, to be honest, because the ceiling's just too high. One wrong move, you'll immediately get punished. And not to mention, there are some lines that you need to segue into one other stuff just so you can, manipulate the game to your advantage. Primarily, if you're playing Infernoble as a pure version, it would be really sucky because at the current format that we are in, hand traps is very prominent. Maxi is still one of the biggest issues against combo decks, especially Infernobles. Now, the best thing about Infernobles in general is that if you summon or if you manage to summon all of your monsters on the field, you have like 6 interruption stop. The new addition for this lineup here, or your main deck is, or basically your general deck, is the addition to the Flame Swordsman archetype. Now, the Fighting Flame Swordsman is one of your best one-card starter. Well, 1 card plus 1 discard, so that you can go into +2 interruptions at the end of your board. Meaning, you'll have a copy of Ultimate Flame Swordsman at the last activation. Once you got a copy or use the effect of Salamander with Chain, after you flip your opponent's card face down, which is pretty good as well if your opponent is using link decks or whatever. So the main purpose for this deck, if ever you don't know this deck, is summoning the 2 copies of Emperor Charles the Great to the field. It is a long process of combo, and to have a copy of Angelica's Ring equipped to 1 monster on the field, which is practically a negation to the first spell card your opponent will try to activate. So if ever they use a copy of Super Poly, Dark Ruler No More, or even a copy of Forbidden Droplet, it will be negated because that is one of the effects, or that's the primary effect for Angelica's Ring. Furthermore, the effects of your level 4 Infernoble monsters protects you or gains you advantage when getting targeted, or getting destroyed by battle, or getting destroyed by a card effect, which is pretty useful in the Infernoble archetype. Now, 1-card starters. Now, 1-card starters are, I do think they have 2 here as what I've known by far, and I don't think that 2 days of knowing the deck gains me all the knowledge for an Infernoble deck, but as I've known by far, there are only 2 good 1-card starters with this variant. So one of which is Neo Space Connector, that allows you to gain access to Neo Spatial Aqua Dolphin. Then you can go into a copy of Isolde. Isolde is one of the best advantage or broken card that warriors needs to have in the Infernoble deck. Nevertheless, its secondary effect is what you're gonna capitalize on. So summoning a monster on the field by dumping the equal number of equipped spells you send to the graveyard. So if you dump 4, you spell summon a level 4 monster to the field. So that way you can summon a copy of Ogre, and Ogre will dump another card to the graveyard. Primarily one of your level 4 monsters that you practically want to get, or one of your gear feed. So it's either one of those cards, which gives you a ton of advantage. Not to mention, gear feed is also a monster negate by removing 1 equipped spell on the field, which is quite easy to summon to the field as well. You just have to banish 1 equipped spell. I know that 2 days isn't like too much because this deck really needs like a ton of brain cells to actually work. And I know firsthand that 46 is just too much for the deck. But it gains you a lot of advantage though. If you want to lessen the number of copies for your main deck, you can run with or no copies of Devil Star, the Sinful Spoils, and even the Wanted. That lowers it down to like 41 cards in total. That way, it would be more consistent in gaining access to your counter hand traps like the Ash Blossom, the Call by the Graves, and the Imperms, or the Cross of Designators, I mean. And then we just run with 1 copy of Imperm because you want to see most of your equipped spells or your Infernoble cards just to do your combo. The variant for Flame Swordsman is not half bad, although we haven't tackled the pure version for this, but the version for this is kind of neat. At least it's pretty good though. And I think the only lock that you basically have is allows you to spell summon a monster from your equipped zone, or a monster that was equipped to 1 monster that you have, and you don't have the Emperor Charles on the field, you are locked into warrior monsters. That's basically like a soft lock because you're primarily going to be working with warrior monsters nevertheless. Also, this is just a soft once per turn, so you activate a 2nd copy of Noble Arms. You see them, you gain access to another Noble Arms card. which is pretty good. Basically, the gist of this deck is dumping all of your equipped spells to the graveyard and all of your level 4 Infernoble Knight Oliver, your Magus, your Turpin, and even your copy of Gearfried to the graveyard, and you can just summon it or gain access to it with a copy of Renaud. Renaud is an additional spell summon if you have a Flame Warrior monster on the field that you have. Game closers for this deck if ever you're under the influence of Maxi. I had some games where that happened. If you don't know this card, just equip this to a Fire Warrior monster, detach this card from the equipped monster, and then you can do the same battle phase for all monsters, not just one. So it's pretty good though. Yeah, it took me a while. It was a gruesome feat just to learn this deck. But yeah, anyways, that is basically the deck profile that I want to showcase you guys with the Flame Swordsman plus the Infernoble. I know it's not that much, but yeah, I'll showcase you guys some of the replays, and yeah. See you guys in the next video. Hopefully we'll be showcasing a pure version for the Flame Swordsman, or tell me in the comment section below on what deck I want or you want to showcase in this channel. See you guys in the next video. Keep safe, good luck. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. See you then, guys. Bye-bye.